The phone rang. It rang in a place where silence usually lived. The top floor of Stellar Heights Corporation was polished, cold, and still after business hours. Most employees had long gone home. The secretary's desk sat empty, the hum of the city faint through the massive glass windows. Inside the CEO's office, only one man was present, a cleaner, mopping quietly, head bent low, hands rough from years of labor. His name was Kwame. The sound startled him because no one ever called the CEO's line this late. The phone sat on the polished wooden desk, flashing insistently, breaking the stillness. Kwame's mop leaned against the corner as his heartbeat quickened. He knew the rules. Do not touch the desk. Do not move the CEO's things. Do not interfere. He was invisible here, meant only to clean and disappear. Yet the ringing grew louder in his head, like an alarm. He thought of his mother's voice back in Ghana, telling him before he left home, sometimes the world calls when you least expect it. Do not be afraid to answer. His hand hovered above the receiver. Every instinct screamed at him to walk away. But his heart overruled. He picked up the call. Hello, he whispered. The voice on the other end was sharp, impatient, foreign. Finally. We've been waiting. Where is Vale? He promised us confirmation tonight. Without it, the deal is finished. Do you understand? Finished. Kwame's throat went dry. He recognized the accent, European, perhaps German or Swiss. He also recognized the deal they spoke of, Tokyo. Everyone in the company whispered about it. It was a billion-dollar expansion, the kind of contract that could secure the company's place among global giants. Without it, thousands of jobs might vanish. He had overheard these details while cleaning conference rooms and empty offices. No one had paid attention to him then. No one ever did. He had a choice, hang up and pretend he never touched the phone, or speak. He took a shaky breath and forced words out. Sir, Mr. Vale is currently unavailable. But if you give me a moment, perhaps I can take your concerns. The caller laughed coldly. And who are you? His assistant. His partner. Kwame's silence stretched too long, but then something inside him snapped. He could not confess he was just the cleaner. He found courage in half-truths. I'm part of the team, he said. Then listen, the voice demanded. Tokyo wants assurances. Delivery schedule, risk coverage, staffing capacity. No confirmation means we cancel. Kwame's mind raced. Fragments of conversations floated back, Vale shouting about shipment delays, managers whispering about global trust insurance, the HR department boasting about bilingual training sessions. He had been invisible, yes, but his ears had been sharp. He pieced together the fragments and repeated them calmly. The shipment is scheduled within 4 weeks. Risk coverage is guaranteed by global trust. Staff have already begun training with bilingual capability. Nothing will be delayed. The silence that followed stretched long enough for sweat to trickle down his back. Then the voice returned, lower now. We will hold Stellar Heights to your word. If you are wrong, we walk. The call ended. Kwame stood there, trembling, staring at the dead phone in his hand. Had he just saved $1 billion deal, or destroyed it? Morning came with fury. Richard Vale, the Billionaire CEO, stormed into the office, demanding to know who had answered his private line. The secretary was horrified. Security scrambled. Kwame stood in the corner, mop in hand, heart pounding. He stepped forward quietly and admitted it was him. You. Vale's voice dripped with disbelief. You're a cleaner. Yes, sir, Kwame said, barely audible. But the call was urgent. I remembered your discussions. I spoke for the company. Vale's face twisted in anger. You could have cost me everything. But before he could say more, the phone rang again. It was Tokyo. Vale snatched the receiver, his face tightening as he listened. Then slowly, he looked at Kwame, expression unreadable. They said your cleaner gave them confidence. They expect us to deliver exactly what he promised. Whispers spread across the company like wildfire. Some laughed behind Kwame's back, calling him foolish. Others were furious that a janitor had dared step out of line. But Vale did something no one expected. That night, he called Kwame into his office privately. "You have two choices," Vale said. "Go back to cleaning, pretend this never happened, and I'll forget it. Or, help me make good on what you promised Tokyo. But if you fail, you're finished." Kwame had never felt so torn. He was only a cleaner, without a degree, without power, without belonging. Yet deep inside, his childhood dream stirred. He had once wanted to study business before poverty forced him to leave school. Maybe this was his chance. He swallowed his fear and said, "I'll help." From that moment, Kwame's life split into two. By day, he pushed his mop, emptied bins, and scrubbed restrooms. By night, he pored over files Vale gave him. He studied contracts, logistics, shipping routes, and financial reports. He asked questions. He learned. Many mocked him, calling it a joke. Some managers openly sneered, saying a black cleaner could never handle high business. The word stung, but he kept going. He remembered his sister back home in Accra, studying because he sent her money. He remembered his mother's faith. He refused to stop. Slowly, something changed. Vale began to notice Kwame's insights. He listened when Kwame pointed out flaws in shipment plans or suggested ways to ease Tokyo's concerns. Secretaries who once ignored him started respecting his quiet discipline. Even a few executives admitted grudging admiration. But the biggest test came when Vale himself fell ill. Weeks of stress and travel had worn him down. The Tokyo team demanded an immediate virtual meeting. If Vale couldn't attend, the deal could collapse. Panic filled the boardroom. "I'll take the meeting," Kwame said. The room erupted in laughter. A cleaner? Impossible. But Vale, lying weak in a hospital bed, looked at him and whispered, "Do it." And so Kwame did. He entered the boardroom in a borrowed suit. His palms sweated as screens flickered on, revealing rows of stern Japanese executives. They expected Vale, not a cleaner. Whispers of doubt filled the room. But Kwame bowed respectfully, introduced himself with quiet confidence, and began. He laid out shipment schedules with precision. He explained staffing strategies and risk coverage in detail. But more than facts, he spoke with sincerity. He told them of his own background, of knowing what it meant to keep promises despite obstacles, of believing in resilience. He spoke not like a polished businessman but like a man with nothing to lose and everything to prove. When he finished, silence hung heavy. Then the chairman leaned forward. His voice was calm but firm. "Mr. Kwame, your honesty moves us. We see not just a company, but a man who speaks truth." Tokyo signs. Relief washed over the room. Applause broke out. The deal was secured. When Vale returned, Stellar Heights had transformed. People spoke of Kwame with respect. The CEO himself offered him a new position, not as a cleaner, but as junior business analyst. It wasn't charity. It was recognition. Kwame had earned it. Months later, he stood in the same office, but this time with files in his hands instead of a mop. He looked out at the skyline, knowing his journey had only begun. From invisible to indispensable, from cleaner to analyst, from overlooked to respected. His story spread quietly through the company, inspiring many who felt small and unseen. Kwame proved that greatness can rise from unexpected places, and that is the heart of this story. Never underestimate the quiet ones. Never dismiss those who seem invisible. Sometimes the person sweeping the floor holds the wisdom and courage to save an empire. To you watching this video, if Kwame's story touched your heart, share in the comments below, what would you have done if you were in his place that night, with the phone ringing and no one else around? And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Stay connected with Be Kind always, because here we believe stories of kindness, courage, and resilience can truly change the world. Remember, sometimes the smallest act, like answering a call, can change your entire destiny.